Hi, my name is Peter Tsavidas. I am a practice area consultant for LexisNexis Canada. I'm a lawyer by profession. I previously practiced in personal injury law and insurance litigation. So with a lot of real estate counsel that have foreign entities as their clients, many counsel are showing concern or are needing to counsel these foreign entities on the proposed legislation, which is the prohibition on foreign buyers for domestic real estate, Bill C-19 to be exact. So with that looming in the background and Bill C-19 being read for both the House and the Senate, many counsel want to track whether or not it's going to receive royal assent and being able to advise their clients quickly. But in addition to that, after the proposed legislation receives royal assent, to be able to track how this legislation may potentially get challenged in the future, what changes are going to occur, whether or not there's any changes with the language, any commentary, secondary sources, anything that will comment on the proposed legislation once it receives royal assent after the fact. So there's a proposed strategy to be able to deal with this issue. So the first is to try and track the reading of the bill. So with Legislative Pulse, you have the capability of being able to track the bill, and in doing so, you're able to track it through all sessions of Parliament, up until the first reading, up until royal assent, and up until its effective date. If you go into Nexus Canadian Legislative Pulse, we know that it's a bill that's currently being read in the House. So you can go into the current session. You have the capability of going to previous sessions. So I'm going to click on current section and go to view. You see the bills here that have gone through reading from 2021 up until present date. So it's Bill C-19 in this instance. So if you go down, you see the Budget Implementation Act of 2022. This is where the proposed prohibition legislation exists. You could see the iterations and the changes that have potentially gone into this bill from April to June 9th. And you can see through this icon here, I've already added the bill to my folder. But if I did want to add the bill, if you do want to add a bill to your folder, you just have to click into the checkbox here. And then once you do that, you just go up to this the button here that says add to folder, and then you can add it to your respective folder here. So you can see I have various folders here. I can add it to one of those, and then I click save. With respect to the bill itself, if I click on the latest version of it here, you'll see it's highlighted in blue. It takes me exactly to where I was reading in the last time. So if you were reading a specific provision, in this case, I'm reading the definition section of the proposed act. It takes me exactly where I left off. So you don't have to worry about scanning through, Control F, go back to the actual title of the bill, or go to the actual definition section and try and find it, because a lot of bills, as many counsel know, I mean, this is a 444-page document. It could almost be like finding a needle in a haystack. So rest assured, you're back to where you were. You don't have to necessarily scramble to try and find where you left off. So with that, you can track the changes of the bill. You see here, this is the proposed act, and then what will happen is once you add it to your folders, you will get alerts on the actual on the bill itself. You can set up your email notification. There's an activity report here too as well. So if I want to set up an email alert on the proposed bill, I can do that by actually by creating those alerts by clicking on the more feature. And so this will allow me to be able to create the updates with respect to that bill specifically. And then with that, I can set the time in which I actually get those alerts. So if we go back for a second here, I'm going to go back to the bill. Just for a second, go back to the bill, go back to my folders. So I can actually set up even timing in terms of when I receive these alerts. There's a timing function. So that's a neat little, that's also very, very good way of being able to do that by setting a time, because if you're going into the office at around 9 a.m., say, you can get the alerts immediately forwarded to you, automated. You don't have to log in necessarily. If you're dealing with other matters, you get the email alert to your inbox, and you're able to advise your client accordingly. Now let's fast forward into the Royal Assent stage. So you have Royal Assent, you have the effective date. Now you need to prepare your client now that the proposed act has become law. So what I recommend afterwards is, if once again, as mentioned before, the thing that you can rest assured is that we're going to be faster most of the time. So you'll have the capability of getting you'll have the capability of getting to the act and reading it into Lexis Advanced Quicklaw faster than other providers. So now, if you're looking to see whether or not there's going to be any charter challenge to this act, or if there's going to be any other legal ramifications that occur, or there's going to be commentary or any secondary material that's going to write about it, you can set up an alert by entering in the name of the act itself once it's received Royal Assent. And by adding in the name, you're able to, you can set up an alert on the specific act itself. Now, in this case, if I add in the search terms here, you're going to see that nothing's going to populate, and that's because it hasn't received Royal Assent. It hasn't become law yet, but that's okay, because once it does become law and you click search, you have the capability of actually going in and setting an alert with that specific provision. So you see here, when I added those terms, the search engine pulled all the terms that I included in it, but I can add this as an alert and then be able to track the legislation specifically. So if I go to a piece of legislation, I can find it here and then create the alert from the legislation itself. So that's one way to do it. If you're looking, however, to get specific, if you're looking to get specifics with respect to the act. So for instance, say that you are expecting or anticipating a challenge based on the definition of non-Canadian, for instance, within the proposed legislation, or a challenge on common law partner control, something to that effect. What I would recommend afterwards is to try to include within your alerts some of the terms that are contained in the definition section, and that will allow you to be able to track specific challenges or commentary with those terms in mind. And for further clarification, why this is important, consult the alerts page here on the homepage of Lexis Advanced Quicklaw. It will guide the user in terms of being able to add the appropriate terms. So, and this is essentially designed to be able to make sure that counsel are not making their terms too broad, but also not making them too narrow, to make sure that they don't get enough information. So this is a good way to be able to track the developments of this proposed legislation, and also to track it once it receives Royal Assent, because obviously this is going to be a big issue for a lot of real estate lawyers, particularly those that counsel foreign entities. So this is something that I recommend in terms of being able to add to your practice to make sure that you're advising clients because of these major developments that are occurring.